Who shot Randy Marsh? Was it Prince Harry? Kanye West? HBO Max? A toilet paper company? Find out on tonight's video breakdown of South Park Season 26.
South Park just aired its third episode of Season 26, and this week, rather than the more topical celebrity bashing like we've seen from the last two episodes, we got a pretty classic Randy romp called Japanese Toilet. And man, did this episode take some twists and turns that I loved. But South Park has been all over the news recently, partially because Prince Harry and Meghan Markle did not take kindly to their portrayals in the previous episode, Worldwide Privacy Tour, and partially because Paramount and South Park Studios are getting sued by HBO Max for $500 million for breach of their exclusivity contract. There's a ton going on, and I'm going to talk about all of it in addition to breaking down this week's episode. Let's start with the Angry Royals, move on to the latest episode, and then I'll wrap up the video breaking down the massive lawsuit. So I didn't talk about last week's episode despite the major controversy surrounding it. I did think aspects of it were funny. Overall, it just wasn't one of my favorites. Though, that hardly matters because they seemed to have been entirely validated by the response. The episode focused on the prince and princess of the Canadian monarchy leaving the royal family and embarking on a worldwide tour begging for privacy. An obvious rip on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who since leaving the royal family have written books, done countless interviews, podcasts, and a Netflix series, I think. Obviously, the commentary being that if they really wanted privacy, they should stop putting themselves on public platforms. And then we saw something that I didn't think we'd ever see again. A folly that most celebrities learned not to make over a decade ago. After the episode aired, it was reported that Meghan Markle was upset and overwhelmed by the South Park episode's portrayal. And I don't doubt that it would be upsetting to be lambasted in a South Park episode, but I cannot believe that in 2023 we have a celebrity publicly decrying a South Park portrayal. It feels like a story out of 2005. I mean, if Tom Cruise and all of his Scientology money and lawyers couldn't make anything happen after the infamous Trapped in the Closet episode, who can? In fact, the only person who has ever gotten a South Park episode banned is the Muslim prophet Muhammad. I think his count's up to 5 banned episodes now. Anyways, Worldwide Privacy Tour has been covered extensively in the press and other channels like my dude Blooms, so I don't want to dive in too deep. But man, Markle is from Los Angeles. She should know that taking a South Park parody on the chin is a much better route publicity-wise. But let's talk about this week's episode, which was much less topical and felt like a real classic Randy storyline. After their toilet breaks at their Tegrity house, Randy is convinced to buy a $10,000 Japanese toilet at Home Depot. One of those super fancy toilets with the built-in bidets that clean your whole ass spotlessly. Real classy stuff. And buying this fancy toilet gives Randy a real superiority complex about his life situation, acknowledging that he now makes a lot more money as a weed farmer. He starts inviting friends over to brunch and leadingly suggests that they use his bathroom.
Does anyone need to go to the bathroom?
No, I'm good.
Oh, maybe some more coffee then.
I said it before, but this entire situation feels very classic Randy, and it's a great example of why I think the people calling for the show to abandon Tegrity Farms are wrong to do so. There is no reason we can't have classic Randy storylines set at Tegrity Farms. This is only tangentially related to the fact that it's a weed farm, stemming from the idea that Randy makes more money now and how this affects his attitude. He mentions weed, but the episode has nothing to do with weed or selling weed otherwise. Though I did love the little set decoration detail that at brunch there's a vase on the table with a couple of weed plants in them. Also, can we point out this weird little mix of people at brunch? The Stotches, the Tweaks, Nelson, and just Sheila Broflovsky? Wonder where Gerald was. The other fun aspect of the first half of the episode is how Randy's new pompous attitude is affecting Stan's school life. Randy apparently called everyone to tell him about his expensive toilet, and now they're all ripping on Stan for being rich.
Stan, just so you know, nobody gives a shit.
Okay, you know it's bad when Cartman would rather hang out with Scott Malkinson, and also whoever this kid is. I guess his name is Douglas, and he's been around since Breast Cancer Show Ever, according to the wiki, but I fully had to look him up. We also get the debut of this brand new character named Betsy, who actually got some lines.
Did you know some people can't even afford to eat? How about caring for something that matters, you bitch?
And honestly, great delivery, great design. I hope we see more of Betsy. And her name makes me wonder if she's maybe voiced by Trey's daughter Betty, who's done a ton of younger kid voices for the show in the past. Regardless, very funny line. Anyways, Randy being this embarrassing and messing with Stan's school life is another aspect of the episode that feels very classic South Park. But the episode takes some crazy turns, and this is honestly where it really hits for me. Jimmy tries to warn Stan about the toilet paper industry and spouts off some crazy data, like the fact that supplying the US with toilet paper takes 31.1 million trees per year, which is absolutely insane. And sure enough, when Randy tries to convince everyone to switch to fancier toilets that clean your ass better, he gets shot. I did not see this turn coming, and I actually rewound it because I wanted to make sure that's what I actually saw. But the transition into the conspiracy-laden, thriller-esque tone was a welcome one. Stan's investigation eventually reveals that Jimmy had been harassed by big toilet paper when he was in 2nd grade because of an article he wrote for the newspaper, and after Stan tries to reveal the truth and stop big toilet paper, Randy rushes up to stop him and then tells everyone that he's actually very pro-toilet paper, obviously deciding that it is not a battle worth fighting.
Bro, I got shot!
The episode ends with Randy digging up the old toilet, placing it back in their bathroom, and claiming that buying luxury items isn't always worth it because it might lead you to feeling like you need to upgrade everything else in your life. And honestly, I'm not sure I vibe with this final message, because the episode made some very valid points about toilet paper. It kills so many trees every single year, and it doesn't even clean your ass very well. Water is a super renewable resource and 100% does a better job cleaning. I really hope the toilet paper companies don't see this video, but I did overall really enjoy this episode. South Park seems to be fully embracing more episodic stories during their shorter 6-episode seasons, and halfway through season 26, it seems like they're going that route again. I like that they started with some more topical commentary and celebrity parodying, and now they're doing a story that, I'm guessing, was just inspired by Matt or Trey getting a fancy toilet, or just using one maybe. I like the variety of types of stories. Going all topical commentary can definitely get tiresome. Okay, now let's talk about this lawsuit, because it is pretty crazy. I actually speculated about the state of South Park's standing between streaming services back in my Streaming Wars coverage last summer, and it has become increasingly clear that that story was entirely about the conflict we're seeing between HBO Max and Paramount Plus.
Your son and his friends just made exclusive deals for multiple streaming services.
Basically, HBO Max is suing Paramount Plus and South Park Studios for $500 million. A few years back, South Park and Paramount auctioned off the rights to stream South Park for hundreds of millions of dollars, eventually being won out by HBO Max. However, HBO Max licensed these episodes under the understanding that they would not only be getting the entire library of 300 plus episodes, but also the very valuable rights to stream brand new episodes after they air on Comedy Central. And at the time, the 3-year contract would grant them 3 new seasons of 10 episodes apiece, so 30 brand new episodes of South Park. Then the pandemic hit and season 24's plans changed substantially. However, South Park still managed to produce 2 specials, the pandemic special and the vaccination special, basically the equivalent of 4 episodes, which did air on HBO Max. However, they allegedly promised that a real 10-episode season 24 would be coming eventually. But this is when Paramount Plus signed a massive new deal with South Park Studios, and I've brought up in other videos how insane this deal was. Essentially, South Park was renewed for 7 more years, and in addition to more seasons, they'd be making 2 quote-unquote movies a year to air exclusively on Paramount Plus. Now, at the time, this sounded wild. They did produce 2 post-COVID specials for Paramount in 2021, but then the promised season 24 never happened, and season 25 aired the following year in 2022. However, season 25 only consisted of 6 episodes, rather than the previously promised 10. These Paramount Plus movies are basically 2 episodes apiece, so effectively what this massive Paramount deal did was divert 4 episodes from their production cycle, episodes that should go to HBO Max, and instead turned them into 2 specials a year to air exclusively on Paramount Plus. They basically cut their season order short so that they were still technically delivering new seasons to HBO Max, but also giving their own streaming service, Paramount Plus, new exclusive South Park content without adding anything to the South Park Studios workload. In my Streaming Wars video, I talked about how crazy it is that the deals worked out this way, and so it does not surprise me at all that HBO Max is suing Paramount here. After expecting 30 new episodes to exclusively stream on their service, they will effectively only have gotten 12 episodes and 2 specials, roughly half the order. Plus, a direct competitor is airing these big event South Park specials. I am very curious how this will pan out. I expect that either Paramount will have to pay out to HBO Max, or South Park Studios will be forced to fulfill their 30-episode promise to HBO Max somehow, which will mean they'll need to deliver roughly 14 more episodes after season 26 before the HBO Max contract ends in 2025. It is very clear to me that Paramount suffered from seller's remorse, especially after launching their own streaming service and realizing how valuable the South Park library is. And though I really love the variety that we're getting from the combo of these shorter seasons and the 2 specials per year, it seems clear to me that this entire Paramount deal used some pretty shady tactics. I think HBO Max really has...
Oh, fuck. Johnny, you good?
Just read this. Read this.
All right. So, in conclusion, Paramount Plus technically did nothing wrong and HBO Max is being greedy. Make sure to subscribe to Paramount Plus to catch 2 new exclusive South Park special events coming later this year. This video brought to you by Paramount Plus.
Johnny!
Two cellos.